Welcome, curious minds, to another deep dive. Today we're plunging into, well, a truly extraordinary personal account. It's this tapestry of life, loss, and the profound echoes of actions across lifetimes. Just imagine getting a stack of notes, not just about one life, but an entire family's journey, filled with both good deeds and some really challenging struggles. Our mission today is to unpack this listener's personal story. We're drawing from their own reflections and a pretty detailed explanation of the karmic threads weaving through their family. We'll explore some complex questions about destiny, choice, and maybe those unseen forces shaping our relationships, our future. Get ready for some, well, surprising facts and I think some profound insights into karma. Okay, so let's unpack this. We begin with our listener, we'll call them the child for this story, a dedicated individual making significant merit since, 1985. Really remarkable acts, donating to temples, setting up Dharma centers in Tokyo and Osaka, even creating personal Dhammakaya image structures. And they've been involved in building revered spaces like the Luampu and Kunye meditation halls, big ceremonies, offering meals to literally thousands of monks. So clearly, a life really committed to spiritual cultivation. But, like many of us, their path wasn't exactly straightforward. For years, starting back in 1975, they worked selling liquor and also drank it themselves. There was this desire to quit selling, partly because of the income loss, which that's pretty relatable, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. That kind of practical hesitation makes sense.
Yeah. And it wasn't until 2002, after hearing teachings from a respected venerable, that they finally made that decisive choice to stop completely. It just highlights that universal struggle. You know what's good, but sometimes you lack the willpower without that proper guidance. This early contrast in the child's own life kind of sets the stage for the complex mix of deeds we're going to see throughout the family story.
Exactly. And what's fascinating here is this immediate juxtaposition. You have intense, long-standing spiritual dedication on one hand, and on the other, a deeply ingrained habit that sort of goes against those very principles. It really demonstrates the inherent human struggle, doesn't it, between good intentions and, well, learned behaviors. Our sources mention that even if someone has that, seed of goodness inside, guidance is often crucial to actually cultivate it. People might know right from wrong, fundamentally, but without that external push or insight, they can often feel, well, powerless to change.
Right. So let's turn to the family story itself now. It's as rich and complex as any epic, really. The mother, she was born in Laos, moved to Thailand at 15 for trade. And the father, a Burmese gem merchant, met the mother in Thailand. They started a life together and ended up having 7 children. But their family faced just immense tragedy. Out of those 7 kids, 4 passed away. Their second child died, and then later a son died at age 6 from malaria. And this was a time, sadly, when villagers misunderstood the illness, thinking it was ghost possession. So they tried these futile attempts to cure him with holy water, which apparently just made his suffering worse and led to his death.
Such a tragic misunderstanding of medicine at the time. Absolutely. And then another child was a miscarriage, and a 7th child, another son, was pushed into water and died. So only 3 daughters, including our listener, the child, survived. The parents' grief was just profound, you can imagine, especially for the sons they lost. The mother, in her sorrow and, frankly, frustration, reportedly showed anger towards the Buddha, even like sweeping revered statues off their shelf during upsetting phone calls, just lashing out.
Wow.
And the father's grief, particularly over his son's death from malaria, drove him to heavy drinking. He ended up spending all his earnings on alcohol instead of supporting the family.
And this really brings up that question. How do people cope with such overwhelming loss? And what are the immediate, sometimes, destructive ways that grief can manifest? Here we see it clearly. The mother's anger turned towards her faith, blaming the Buddha, and the father's descent into severe alcoholism, essentially abandoning his family duties.
They are extreme reactions, but maybe understandable given the unimaginable pain they were going through.
Yes, the pain was immense.
Yeah. And the mother's response to her husband's drinking was equally extreme and pretty shocking to read about. She would take white liquor when he was already drunk and force feed it to him, causing him to choke and struggle for breath. She apparently did this regularly, trying to combat his addiction maybe, but it just caused more suffering.
That's incredibly intense, a really misguided attempt to help, if that was the intention.
Yeah. Despite all these challenges, all this tragedy, the mother still earnestly wished for another son. And after 4 years, she did give birth to a boy. This event actually led the father to stop drinking temporarily, a moment of hope maybe, but then this son also tragically died young at only 6 after being pushed into water.
Oh no, another loss.
Yeah. This second devastating loss just sent the father spiraling back into heavy drinking, which eventually led to his illness and death in 1970.
So looking at the bigger picture here,
You can see these incredibly intense patterns. Grief, addiction, these extreme coping mechanisms, just repeating, reinforcing each other. It forms this dense, tragic web of cause and effect within the family history. It's like a cycle of suffering, where each new tragedy deepens the existing wounds and leads to more, well, destructive actions.
It really is. Now, here's where the complexities become, I think, most apparent. The mother, despite her fiery temper and, let's be honest, sometimes violent actions, she was also incredibly devout. Deeply religious, she made daily offerings to monks, prepared these elaborate meals for the temple morning and afternoon. Sponsored ordinations, was a patron for Cathan ceremonies during Buddhist Lent. She clearly sought to accumulate merit through all these devotional acts.
So a very strong commitment on that front.
Definitely. Yet her actions were such a stark contrast in other areas. She would buy live fish, specifically catfish and snakehead fish, keep them alive for a bit, and then kill them herself. Or she'd instruct her children, including the child, to kill them for the very meal she offered to the monks.
Wow, that's got quite a contradiction. Killing for the offering.
Right. And she also raised pigs for sale, which as an occupation inherently involves the taking of life. And her anger wasn't just directed at the father or the Buddha. She was known for this explosive temper and physical abuse towards her daughters, especially the third sister. The story says she would tie her up, arms bound behind her back, and then burn chili peppers under her nose to make her sneeze, believing it cured colds.
That's horrific.
Yeah.
And based on a complete misunderstanding.
Completely. And for our listener, the child, the mother would kick their face, slap both ears at the same time, and use various other forms of physical punishment. The child eventually found a way out by asking to go live in Laos, and was apparently quite happy to leave her mother. Then later in life, the mother suffered from paralysis and couldn't speak for 19 years. A long, challenging time. And during that entire period, she was cared for by that same third daughter.
The one she abused with the chili pepper.
The very same one. She cared for her until the mother's death at 86. The irony there is just quite something.
It really is.
Yeah.
And what's so striking in this whole account is that profound paradox, isn't it? Someone deeply committed to spiritual acts, accumulating what seems like immense merit, while simultaneously engaging in actions that inflict terrible suffering, both on animals and her own kids. This case powerfully illustrates, I think, that merit from devotional acts doesn't just automatically cancel out the consequences of harmful actions in other parts of life. Karma, it seems, is far more nuanced than just a simple balance sheet. It manifests in different ways, in different aspects of someone's existence.
Exactly. So having painted this really vivid picture of their family's, well, tumultuous journey, marked by intense devotion and profound suffering, it's no wonder the child is yearning for understanding. They've come to us looking for answers to questions many of us, maybe you listening right now, might ask about our own lives or the bewildering patterns we sometimes see.
And the central question that comes out of all this is, when you're faced with such a tangled web of experiences, devotion and cruelty, huge loss, and this stoic perseverance, how do you even begin to unravel the threads of cause and effect? So our child specifically asks, where are their parents now? And did the merit they made actually reach them?
Right, that's a big one.
Then what karma caused their parents to lose 4 children? Such specific, repeated tragedy. Why did the third sister, the one who suffered so much abuse, become the sole caregiver for her paralyzed mother for 19 long years?
That connection is fascinating.
It is. And why do the siblings struggle to get along? Always quarreling, apparently, even over simple words. And finally, for the child themselves, why have they experienced 2 divorces?
Okay, let's dive into the karmic explanations that were provided for these really poignant questions. These insights, they really connect the dots in some unexpected ways.
Let's start with the father. Because of his chronic alcoholism, which created this dark, gloomy, suffering state of mind when he died, he was immediately reborn in the 5th grade hell. That's Mahanarok Kum 5, a specific realm of really intense suffering in this karmic view. His body is described as emaciated, dark, huge like a mountain, and suffering the torment of being force-fed black acid by hell guardians. Pretty graphic.
Wow, that's incredibly specific and grim.
It is. And the merit his child sent, it hasn't reached him directly yet. It's described as being queued in Yamalok, which is like a transitional realm, where merit waits for specific conditions to be met before it can be effective. It requires a special condition for the child to diligently practice Dharma, achieve Dhammakaya, which is a profound state of spiritual realization through meditation, and also help carry grandma teacher in their spiritual practice. This refers to supporting the spiritual lineage and teachings of a revered master. Only then can that accumulated merit truly benefit him in that realm.
So that's a very specific path to transferring merit then. It's not automatic. It needs the child's continued spiritual growth and specific actions.
Exactly. It really emphasizes the active role of the living in genuinely helping the deceased in these kinds of realms. Now, the mother's fate, reflecting her truly mixed deeds, is that of Vemanika Preta. It's like a ghost deity hybrid, experiencing both heavenly joy and ghostly torment.
A dual existence?
Yes. During the day, she enjoys the status of an air diva. She resides in an aerial, silver, celestial palace. That's the direct result of her accumulated merit from her devout practices. But at night, she transforms into a Preta, a suffering spirit, described as gaunt, dark, tall, engulfed in flames, and afflicted by falling knives and swords. This is seen as the consequence of her past actions, killing animals and her intensely angry disposition. The merit sent by her child is actively helping, though. It's helping to shorten her time as a Preta, easing that nightly suffering.
That dual existence is just,
Yeah.
wow, it's a direct reflection of her mixed actions. So the merit doesn't remove the suffering entirely, but it lessens it, shortens the painful part.
Precisely. It's a complex interplay. Now, about the tragic loss of 4 children. This is attributed to past life karma. In a previous existence, the parents were husband and wife, farmers who raised ducks and chickens. They mostly kept the female birds for eggs, but they sold the males for slaughter or killed them themselves for food. So this karma of taking life, especially male animals, is said to be why they couldn't have sons survive in this life, and why they attracted children who shared similar karmic ties to violence, leading to their early deaths.
So a direct link between past actions involving male animals and the inability to have sons survive in this life.
According to this explanation, yes. And the deep connection between the third sister and the mother, the one culminating in the sister's 19 years of care. That also had profound roots in a past life. In an earlier incarnation, the mother, who was also a mother then, remarried after her husband died. Her new husband, the stepfather, sexually assaulted the daughter, who was the third sister in this life. When the mother found out, she didn't just get angry, she tragically blamed and beat her own daughter. She believed the daughter had provoked the stepfather, who had apparently lied to her.
Oh, that's terrible, blaming the victim.
Exactly. And the daughter, in that past life, developed this deep resentment and even thought about killing the stepfather, though she didn't act on it. So this strong karmic bond, full of suffering, but also some kind of complex love or connection, carried over into this lifetime. It explains that powerful, though painful, dynamic between them.
That adds a whole other layer to the 19 years of caregiving.
It does. And the mother's paralysis and inability to speak in her final years, that stemmed from both past and present panatipat, the karma of taking life, and also her intensely angry and volatile disposition throughout her life. It's also revealed that in a past life, she even cursed her own parents. These actions all accumulated, the explanation goes, to manifest as her debilitating condition in this life.
Okay. And what about the siblings always quarreling?
That's explained as a karmic pattern, basically speaking unkindly to each other across lifetimes. Instead of carefully choosing good, constructive words, they just tend to speak in ways that cause frustration and anger in each other, a habitual pattern.
And finally, the child's 2 divorces.
That's attributed to past life, karma of being described as a playboy or someone with many partners, combined with their current tendency not to speak kindly or thoughtfully in relationships. So it's a mix of inherited karmic patterns from the past and present-day choices in communication style.
Wow. So if we draw a bigger conclusion from all this, we really see how intricately actions, emotions, and tensions, how they all weave through lifetimes, shaping our present realities, our future experiences, often in ways that seem bewildering, maybe even unfair, until these deep karmic threads are revealed. It's a powerful testament, isn't it, to the long-term impact of every choice we make.
Absolutely. These explanations provide such a specific, detailed framework for understanding that interconnectedness of actions and consequences. It really gives us a lot to think about regarding our own daily choices.
It really does. Which leads to the practical question, right? Given these detailed explanations, this knowledge of karmic threads, what concrete steps can someone take right now in the present to maybe shift future outcomes, to try and break these cycles?
That's the crucial part. For the ongoing sibling conflicts, the advice given is simple, but incredibly powerful. Choose your words carefully. Instead of automatically speaking words that cause frustration, consciously select kind and well-arranged phrases. Positive speech. And even if you can't change how your sibling speaks to you, you can change your own reaction and adjust your approach. The source material even suggests that just by speaking good words which cost nothing, the whole atmosphere can change completely.
Focus on your own speech, basically.
Exactly. And for those seeking lasting relationships, like our listener who experienced 2 divorces, the guidance for avoiding separation is sort of twofold. One option is choosing a life of celibacy, which obviously removes the possibility of marital separation altogether. Or, if you're in a relationship, the key is to cultivate consistently kind and loving speech. It comes back to being mindful of your words, both in what you say and maybe even the intention behind them.
So mindful communication seems key in both scenarios, sibling relationships and romantic ones.
Very much so. It's presented as a core practice for changing these karmic patterns.
What an incredible deep dive this has been. We've journeyed through this remarkable and sometimes difficult family history. We've unpacked how dedication, struggle, profound grief, anger, how they all weave together with these karmic threads from past lives. We've seen how good deeds can lead to, well, heavenly rewards, while harmful actions, even maybe unintentional ones, can lead to suffering, and how both can reside within the same person, manifesting in such complex and, yeah, surprising ways.
It's a really powerful reminder, isn't it, that our words, our actions, even our intentions, they all carry immense weight. They're creating the very fabric of our present and our future. The choices we make, especially how we treat others and maybe how we treat ourselves too, have such far-reaching implications, apparently extending across lifetimes, according to this view.
hmm We hope this deep dive has offered you, our curious listener, not just information, but maybe a new lens, a different way to view the complexities of life and relationships. It's really about trying to understand those unseen forces that might be shaping our experiences, especially when things seem particularly challenging or confusing. So here's a final provocative thought for you to maybe mull over. If every action, every word, every thought is like planting a seed, what kind of garden are you cultivating? For your future, and maybe for the future of those around you, those connected to you by these unseen threads, what small shift in your current approach, maybe just in your words, like we discussed, could lead to a profound transformation down the line? Thank you so much for joining us on this really enlightening journey today. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep.